If you are new to reading Sarah J Maas and you don't know what these books are about or where to start, I'm here with your ultimate guide. There are 3 series in this universe, the first being A Court of Thorns and Roses, also known as ACOTAR. This is like our chick flick. These books are heavy on romance. They are very easy to follow if you're new to the fantasy world. This first book is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling with magic and fairies, but they are not your grandmother's fairies. These are the fairies. The first 3 books, A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Wings and Ruin, also known as ACOTAR, ACOWAR, and ACOMAF, are a completed trilogy. They are told from the first-person perspective of a female main character, and after you read these, you can decide, hey, do I like fantasy? They are followed by a little Christmas special, which changes to third-person point of view, and then A Court of Silver Flames, which is a spicy, delicious treat. These 2 books are third-person, and we start to follow kind of like a full cast of characters. This set of books is not yet complete, but it doesn't end on a cliffhanger, so you can read it and still be satisfied. Now, if A Court of Thorns and Roses was like a chick flick, Throne of Glass is our Academy Award winner. Throne of Glass follows a badass female assassin who has been imprisoned in a salt mine and is offered a deal to compete in a competition. This series has multiple points of view. Again, it is limited third-person point of view. There is still romance, and some would argue that the romance is actually heavier hitting than in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series because you have like 8 books to fall in love with the character. This is the series where you see people crying all the time. There's also a ton of discourse on where to read Assassin's Blade in the series because technically it's a prequel. This is my recommended reading order, but who cares? Just read the fucking books. Did you like Game of Thrones when you were younger? Yes, read Throne of Glass. Did you not like Game of Thrones when you were younger? Still read Throne of Glass. Now you can read Throne of Glass before A Court of Thorns and Roses if you want. You can read A Court of Thorns and Roses before Throne of Glass. But you have to read A Court of Thorns and Roses before you read Crescent City. Crescent City is like our indie movie. It takes place in the modern world. There are cell phones, there are guns, but there's also archangels. This is like a spicy Zootopia murder mystery. This is considered an urban fantasy, but it is also very high fantasy. I would not recommend this series unless you really like fantasy. There's also crossover between the different worlds, and so you do need to read A Court of Thorns and Roses before this series.